Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brews with Brian, a craft beer review podcast. Craft beer is beer that is brewed in smaller breweries, not these big corporate machine breweries that we're all aware of. Craft beer takes time and patience, and the people that brew this stuff care about the product they're delivering to us. On this week's show, I'm reviewing 9th Anniversary Peanut Butter and Chocolate Stout from Westbrook Brewing Company, Judge Juicy from Ghost Train Brewing Company, and IPA from Good People Brewing Company. Now you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, so don't forget to like and share and tell your buddies about it. But let's kick this show off. And first up on this week's show is 9th Anniversary Peanut Butter and Chocolate Stout from Westbrook Brewing Company out of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. 9th Anniversary Peanut Butter and Chocolate Stout has an ABV of 10%, and it's a one-off. They only made this one time. The description from the website says, brewed with peanut butter, cocoa nibs, and vanilla. This beer pours highly viscous, like motor oil, with a beige head that quickly dissolved. Aroma is perfectly executed. It's just like a peanut butter cup. Very nutty with notes of sweet chocolate. Tasting this beer is bittersweet chocolate throughout. The taste of peanut butter comes through less aggressively than the smell. It's very nutty without any artificial flavors. With the dark chocolate, it kind of tastes more like a grown-up version of a peanut butter cup. It's sweet, but the roast and bitterness really balances it out. It has a thick and full-bodied mouthfeel, which is not what I expected for a 10% beer. Overall, it's very delicious. It's not peanut butter overload, but enough to appreciate it. Again, impressive mouthfeel for a 10% beer. Westbrook Brewing Company makes some great, fantastic beer. Mexican cake is one of my favorites. So, if you can find this, give it a shot. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But overall, I'm going to give 9th Anniversary Peanut Butter and Chocolate Stout from Westbrook Brewing Company 4 stars. And the next beer on this week's show is Judge Juicy from Ghost Train Brewing Company out of Birmingham, Alabama. Judge Juicy has an ABV of 7% and a rotating availability. There was no information on the description I could find other than it's a New England-style IPA. This beer pours a nice hazy golden color with a frothy finger of white foam that leaves spotty patterns of lace around the glass as it settles. It's got a good balance of aromas, bursting with citrus, ripe pineapple, and the hints of mango. Predominantly sweet, but with a very present balance of hop bitterness as well. A more hop-forward hazy offering, but followed closely by a juicy citrus backbone. The pineapple rounds up the flavors again, and it finishes pretty smooth. Only slight, lingering bitterness is there. Juicy, medium, carbonated really well, smooth finish, a slight stickiness in the finish, and as I mentioned before, a slight bitterness in the finish. This beer is pretty good. I enjoy a lot of stuff from Ghost Train. I actually had this one at the brewery a year or so ago. So you can find it anywhere, I'm sure, especially in the state of Alabama. But overall, I'm going to give Judge Juicy from Ghost Train Brewing Company 3 stars. And the last beer on this week's show is IPA from Good People Brewing Company out of Birmingham, Alabama. IPA has an ABV of 7% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says our unfiltered, dry-hopped IPA packs a copper-colored aromatic punch. Herbal and earthy hops take center stage, tempered by light caramel flavors, crisp and refreshing. It's a hop lover's dream. This beer pours a nice amber orange color with a solid one-finger head of foam. On the aroma, I can get a strong, boozy smell with a piney, floral, and citrusy smell that comes afterwards. Tasting this beer, I really do enjoy it. It comes off a bit bitter at first, but as I continue to drink it, I was pleasantly surprised with the great flavors of biscuit, citrus, and pine. The carbonation works well with the flavor of the beer. It's moderate enough to drink easy. Overall, it's a really good IPA. To me, this beer is either on the highest end of mediocre IPAs or the lowest end of great IPAs. So it's not the worst and it's not the best. There isn't anything special, but they know how to make beer at Good People, and this is a classic IPA. So if you're in the Birmingham area, you definitely should check out Good People when all this coronavirus stuff is settled down. If you can find it in any store, you need to buy anything from Good People, especially their IPA. Again, it's not the best in the world, it's not the worst, but it'll do. It's really good. They've done a good job. So overall, I'm going to give IPA from Good People Brewing Company 3 stars. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian. I want to thank everybody for listening. The show continues to grow each and every week, so thank you again. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, so don't forget to like and share it. If you've got friends that enjoy drinking craft beer, maybe they'll enjoy me talking about it. But on today's show, I reviewed 9th Anniversary Peanut Butter and Chocolate Stout from Westbrook Brewing Company, Judge Juicy from Ghost Train Brewing Company, and IPA from Good People Brewing Company. Now I want to give a special shout out to Southern Package, as I do every week, my hometown craft beer shop. If you live in Northwest Alabama, you got to check them out. They'll treat you right. They're fantastic people, and you will not regret it. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian, and we'll see you next time.